Adeshima ma mamu nyina ha UTV asuni o mamu nsem ne amahodo so de awosemu asonso no na wi Midday esomo kasebo ekwan so na ensem ne bi etodwa ene se aban de sinani so se enfie miensa ntam wo hwese Ghana mabunu no wono metumi agina wona so brane ewo ne wotumi di wadwen sasai ne onimde ekokodromu ensem fufo mu no omanpanyi John Dramani Mahama se wo pese wo ka kire ye mabunu wo oman Ghana mu se wono mo emfa won ho enhye ensa no dwumam eniema a betumi asakire wiase betumi asakire wo man Ghana ne bobre se de be ya ebeda wadi kansuo esu no edi Zimbabwe ni oman Ghana ya hye ye ntiasepam da ye ntam ne mu dene ya ebeboa adwadie ewo ye ntamu yebohwi kopioma asante mantamu asoambe yesi adwadifo wo ho ede esikwan ye wo soame maazi empotamu ho ni nyina ne se mfuturo wianfo eku wono nti omu ntimi ntra ho ma driverfo emmom mfuturo nwu omu so sede eye hu anase ekoso no enunti na omosisi akwan no ensema foforo bi kan wenum ho na wi Midday esomo midin de ama saponkuma nkoma jesi afe yentinsi ensem no emu Ghana mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ede atu edwase wo hwese mfie miensa entam Ghana mabunu ebegina wonom na so na wabobio ewonimde ene ekwan obefa so ede onimde aboa wo man no ene nsachaye na enye se ye bo wonom abaso keke ewo bibi a wasua ho na mom bibi a wasua no ayo na ho abamfa so ede ama oman no
our youth population into a demographic dividend through jobs, skills, enterprise, and innovation. This is not rhetoric, it is policy in action. At the center of our economic transformation is the 24-hour economy initiative, a structural reform designed to expand productivity, extend working hours across sectors, and unlock jobs at scale. This policy is specific, not abstract. It mainly targets our young people. To facilitate this transformation, we are deploying key flagship initiatives. The first being the Ejumwa program, supporting more than 10,000 young people to establish businesses each year with financing, mentorship, and market access. The next is the National Apprenticeship Program, providing free technical training, certification, and startup kits, helping young people transition from apprenticeship to entrepreneurship. The third is the 1 Million Coders Initiative, positioning Ghana as a center for digital talent, equipping young people with globally competitive technical skills. The fourth is the no academic fee policy, ensuring that financial barrier does not prevent first-year students from accessing higher education. But beyond programs, we are strengthening institutions. The creation of the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment is a deliberate reform aimed at coordinating youth policy, eliminating fragmentation, and achieving measurable outcomes. We're also aligning youth development with our wider agenda of export-led growth and industrialization, macroeconomic stability and fiscal discipline, innovation-driven entrepreneurship, public-private partnerships, for job creation. Let me emphasize, sustainable youth employment will not solely rely on government. It will result from a productive partnership between the state and the private sector. Distinguished guests, while government develops systems and creates opportunities, the Head of State's Award scheme develops people.
Omanpanyi John Dramani Mahama she get fans se won pesika said ye beya wodi ebewie Ghana Awards House na aboa ama dwumadi esese wodi wo hono atumi akoso.
I remember the promise I made when Mr. Sintima Bwaji led his team to my office. I haven't forgotten. Indeed, I've instructed the Get Fund to provide us with the funding to complete the project. This award house will be a lasting symbol of this legacy and our investment in the future of our young people. To our gold awardees and special honorees, you have distinguished yourselves. You have demonstrated discipline, resilience, and purpose, and I congratulate you. But today is not the end, it is the beginning. You now carry a responsibility, 1, to lead with integrity, 2, to serve with humility, 3, to innovate with courage, and 4, to build not just careers, but build your communities. Let this recognition serve as your launch pad, not your final destination. To the young people of Ghana, the future will not be handed over to you. You must build the future.
Yatwa ensam no eso Ghana mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ede ato omanmabunu anim se yenhwe mpensa no dwuma na se ubeko suku watebrofo adada ho yewesa wawesa bi no eye pa nanso so ade am oman tumpon am onipa asetena nkasa tumpon no eyesuban ensa no dwuma a wasua ne wadwena wutumi di se sai bibi ematumi de mfaso obre wo no enno ene mu oman ene nipa abrabo ekonkan.
The global economy is evolving quickly. Degrees alone are no longer sufficient. Skills, adaptability, and innovation now determine success. And that is why our policy direction is clear. We must equip our youth not just to seek jobs, but to be value creators. We're therefore focusing on 3 pillars: skills for productivity through an aggressive expansion of TVET and apprenticeship pathways, digital capabilities to position Ghanaian youth in the global knowledge economy, values and discipline to ensure integrity, leadership, and responsibility. But let me state this clearly. If education is the key to success, then skills are the driving force of economic transformation. Ghana's youthful population is often seen as a challenge, but indeed is our greatest asset. But this asset can become a liability if we fail to act decisively. And that is why government is pursuing a deliberate strategy to turn our youth population into a demographic dividend through job skills, enterprise, and innovation. This is not rhetoric, it is policy in action. At the center of our economic transformation is the 24-hour economy initiative, a structural reform designed to expand productivity, extend working hours across sectors, and unlock jobs at scale. This policy is specific, not abstract. It mainly targets our young people. Let me emphasize, sustainable youth employment will not solely rely on government. It will result from a productive partnership between the state and the private sector. Distinguished guests, while government develops systems and creates opportunities, the Head of State's award scheme develops people. It instills discipline in the face of distraction. It builds resilience in the face of doubt. It nurtures leadership where there is potential. And this is why this scheme is not complementary, it is strategic. Our goal is to reach 100,000 young people through this program over the next 3 years.
Ayonkofo da oman Ghana ene Zimbabwe enchen entamuno ena onmunyamfo Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa ya wono ena ehwe Ghana ene aman ahodo nkita wodi ho nsam so de atodwa se wonum ayirimu na yira wayirimu no mfaso de beba bi eye yenwomasua tena ye no afei eno eda nchen a ensahwe kua ene apomoden ena afei ye fomagudie tuo ho na nye se wo mu nko de benya ye ho mfaso ye soso ye benya bi de afiri won ho.
Excellencies, distinguished officials, in an increasingly complex international environment marked by geopolitical uncertainty, economic transformation, and global challenges, The need for stronger cooperation among African countries has never been more evident. It is therefore fitting that Ghana and Zimbabwe are taking decisive steps to strengthen our partnership through the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation, which will serve as a strategic platform for structured dialogue and coordinated action. The framework of the PJCC also provides an opportunity for our two countries to deepen collaboration across a number of strategic sectors where our strengths are complementary and our interests aligned. As we all know, economic transformation remains at the heart of the development agenda of both Ghana and Zimbabwe. Ghana hosts the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, positioning the country as the gateway to the African market, while Zimbabwe also as an important entry point to the Southern African Development Community SADC region. By leveraging these strategic positions, our two countries can work together to expand intra-African trade, strengthen regional value chains, and promote industrial development across the continent. Additionally, there are other promising opportunities that exist in many areas, such as mining and mineral beneficiation, where both Ghana and Zimbabwe possess significant deposits of minerals such as gold, manganese, diamonds, iron, and lithium. Through collaboration in technology sharing, environmentally responsible mining practices, and value addition, our two countries can ensure that our natural resources contribute meaningfully to sustainable economic growth.
As we deliberate during this inaugural session of the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation, our collective responsibility is to ensure that the agreements reached translate into practical programs, measurable outcomes that benefit our peoples. As we look ahead to the forthcoming state visit of His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa, we are confident that our discussions will provide clear strategic direction for deepening Zimbabwe-Ghana cooperation and consolidating this enduring partnership of Pan-African solidarity, family linkages, and ideological and humanity-backed linkages.
Yɛkɔ ensam foforo mu wɔsoafo a wɔno ne da ya ngumasua ano eyonmunyamfo Haruna Idrisu na yatonsa efre no se inauguration bi koso wo mehwe na on inaugurate governing council aya wo mobehwe Sir John Bosco College of Education wagina so to onfo se amudie ne animunyam a ewo suapon no wo no mo eho no wo monhwe se obekoso ama atena ho.
My pleasure and profound honor on behalf of President Mahama, who has so appointed you to serve on the Governing Council of the Sir John Bosco College of Education. And the school has a reputation, and our charge on this new Governing Council is to keep the reputation of the institution and situate Sir John Bosco College of Education as leader of excellence in the training of our teachers. We know that many of your products are guided by your Christian values, and that values help shape behavior and shape the behavior of young children that they have a responsibility to help mold. I'm happy to note that government has taken a decision to establish a college of education at Azinlibo, Jomro, in the Western region. This morning I met with the Chief Executive of Ghana Gas to discuss how government can partner with Ghana Gas in the exercise and pursuant to the mandate of Ghana Gas to support the community in the catchment area of its operations, and in consultations with the Director General of GTEC and our Secretariat responsible for tertiary education, government has taken a policy decision to establish a new teacher training college in Ghana-Zimbabwe in the western region. Work on it will commence somewhere in 2027, subject to the availability of resources that I intend to generate from the Get Farm Formula of 2027. But we need a teacher training in that area to serve that particular enclave. And then also specifically on St. John Bosco, your establishment date back to pre-independence 1946. The institution has played a pivotal role in the educational advancement of Ghana, evident, as I mentioned, in your strong Catholic values.
Yatwa ensam so na yera hari na adrisu to aso se aban aya adwen ese obesi new training colleges ewo Zinibu ene Jomoro.
You have also been very visible in sporting activities over the years. I'm also in consultation with the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports for us to re-establish schools and colleges football competition. We are looking for sponsorship and support to relaunch it, because for many of you, Ghana abounds in talents, whether it's in football or it's in tennis or in boxing. And we need to identify them young and groom them for purpose of serving. I must also acknowledge your strong alumni presence. It is now the decision of government that all governing councils of second cycle schools in Ghana, where necessary, we will review appropriate legislation to allow for more participation of alumni groups. So every second cycle institution now should have a minimum representation of 2, 1 for a woman. It can be 2 women, but not 2 men, to keep faith with the present promise of increasing gender representation. So we expect that all secondary schools in Ghana, in the composition of the governing boards of those secondary schools, respect and presence will be given to alumni to recognize their contribution to those institutions. In fact, they are the only other institutions supporting the state and government. I've seen some publication in the media about transfer of headmistress and headmasters. It's a normal occurrence within the GES system, and where it is necessary to do transfers, those transfers will be done to add new impetus to the management of those institutions. So once again, let me congratulate you. I wish you well.
On behalf of the council and the council chair, Most Reverend Alfred Agenta, we accept the responsibilities bestowed on us as we lead St. John Bosco College of Education into a new era of education and excellence. We pledge to work tirelessly to uphold the values of our patron, the St. John Bosco College of Education, fostering the culture of education and innovation into the community. Together, as we strive to make St. John Bosco College of Education as a beacon of hope and a center of excellence in teacher education.
I would at all times well and truly serve the governing council of the St. John Bosco College of Education.
Oswafo ayahwese yakwantempo ho nsam so wono ene nano eni eche yonmunyamfo governance Kwame Agboja na yewura yi akonsrabo tema motorway ni so wahyese contractor for mo ho so.
Ekwa wondi ede Association for Responsible Mining and Development ede atonsemptrefo nyina enemu se emraso se oman Ghana yetimi etai ya kasa yedi.
Mama took office. Banks didn't even want to hear about contractors, road contractors particularly, because they owe them, they cannot pay. Today, the story has changed. Banks are chasing contractors to come for assistance. We are hopeful that by the end of 2027, when all these projects are completed, the Ghanaian will be better off. it will mean that shorter travel times, less damage to our vehicles. The good story was that these contractors are all big employers already, because one of the problems we have in our country currently is especially unemployment, especially for young people. We want to encourage the contractors to reach out, hire new engineers, hire young people. These are the people who will give you value tomorrow. Today they may not be that experienced, but with the kind of setup you have, within 2 years you will see the value they will bring to your establishment. This project, the real owners of this project is ATEL, Accra Tema Expressway Limited, which is an SPV but owned by government. Of course, it's a public road, so Ministry of Roads and Highways is responsible. The good thing is that as of now, all the outstandings in terms of government commitment, in terms of money, has been settled. So today, we don't have an outstanding certificate on this project. So I think it is important that yourselves and the consultant work with the subcontractors to get them back on site, because whatever is due them would have been settled. We need to have that understanding so that they can come and help you. Indeed, I agree with you. If they don't relocate their services, you cannot work. And we want to take the opportunity to encourage you to work closely with Ghana Electricity Company of Ghana and also Ghana Water. We know of some challenges as well, but since you didn't talk about those ones, please, just to let everybody know that on this project, government is up to date in terms of payment, and we expect that once that is done, you will be able to settle the subcontractors to continue with the work.
For the motorway, our only challenge, I can say, has to do with the relocation of utilities, water lines and ECG lines. Up to now, we are still having challenges of the subcontractor not being at the site, not working as we speak. So if you could see, when we drive through the road, you see most of the sections, work is not going on there. The work is not going on, not because we are not ready to work, but because of water lines, existing water lines are there that needs to be relocated. And then some sections also, we need to shift some high tension posts. Also, the ECG subcontractor is also not working at the moment. So these are the challenges that we think in future can affect the completion of the project. But if it is addressed on time, we are hopeful that we have no doubt that we can finish the project on time. But if it's not being addressed as immediate as possible, then it can impact some delays on the project.
Yatwa and Semno Eso Ghana Goals Award and Special Honors Presentation Ceremony Akoso Ewo and Kranhase. Na Jumedie na se no Yero se kwame despite enya abasobo banyinesi bekwin din fatano efatana kono enyankwankwa anuase. Enu nti abasobo de a yede ehye ne nsa no eye Life Icon Awards 2025. Eno ene abo ye papa abaso sesa wo hwe nnwuma wabiebie wo memu Yero se kwame despite ebie na ubisa ne to onkofa ne certificate ne degree masters mra onkrabi na so nyansa nyame edema owrai wanfa nhye boase wode abiebie nnwuma wode akeka na dwuna bomu aye niema nipa nya homfaso eba na dansie mu abani nnwuma bie mu wo fa adwuma te aban house ni nyina aye niema waye de aboa enti esafata so obona baso na yera no watia ne na echi eno nti wono ankasa ne de hyekonkono ne ba na sinimu ba Yera Kennedy Osei Asante lawyer ya wono asan general manager Emma Despite Group of Companies ekosi ne papa anan ekoje abasobode no. Yero se kwame despite abusia yenko ensemfo from Association of Responsible Mining and Development edi atodwa se yen support ye local companies no na yenyai se da bia yenwunu wonom no
The Association for Responsible Mining and Development the ato nsɛmtwerɛfoɔ nyinaa anim sɛ ɛmra so sɛ ɔman Ghana yɛtumi ɛta yaa yankasa yɛ deɛ akyi na yɛgyae sɛ yɛpere ama aborɔfo deɛ agyina Thomas Yao Enyam a wɔyɛ chairman ɛde ma ekuo yi ɛna de nsɛm nyinaa ɛto dwa
ɛnkyɛ bia yɛtete individuals ɔman kasa ɔmo nyam bɔtɛ no ɛyɛ adeɛ ne nyinaa akyi ɔwɔ kwan sɛ ɔbɛ criticize the activities of the mind. So, say a constructive criticism in the Ewa. A constructive criticism in the Ewa. Now, you have more than see a member of Jumano, a Sika is a one who will be blown, and yes, sir, the best chef in Kofubinum Echi. Now, our man said, Omoa, now foreign investors need a woman at the Emeti. Who Ghana need your way and yet. But the whole our money anonymity or yeah, as I say, yes, one reality. Company, I friend who goes to buy you said the first 3 months was only a sign. At once, after so many years, you run, and you say, on handwriting, the rules of all salary, it is in 2 years, I are saying, that's a 1 day, was only a sign, a day, that is a little close, and I Emma, or the leaders moving at the man, a year, we grow almost a year.
Easter ebubo beye a ye bewremu no afutuo kese na akọ ediama ahyenkafo chichiu se wonom enhwe yie na enye contemporary ntem enkohwe nipa hu otobo ase a obekọ abade odi ewo mu bia no nyame ebema onsa asusu
Easter o ebedru Easter na otwen mu a na yewo yi Easter Friday Good Friday ya eda yenim ya mesre minuanom adrafo nyina we enye concern drivers for nko mesre minuanom adrafo nyina ai wo Ghana say Easter base ya na passenger ebegu kroma eno nkyere say yen kwa na ebetimi transporting crop na ko bebi omoko no yen nya botre na yendi mmra ne hyehye a ewo lorry kwan so no emfa nkrofo nko Easter no ne ensan fa omombra ewo nkwa eni ahondi mu ma yen prayer ho enkoto nkrofo no enye de entwene because yen so ye hwefie omo amote ye ka no so no omo nso ne breadwinners a omo wo enti mesere minuanum adoafo ye nya hweyie ewo Easter imu akwanhia de ekaye dwuma ye ho be mesere akwanhia no emu 90% every yen a ye kura ahyen no ho emu 10% na every ekwan any other road users no ho enti mesere say yemum yenya ahweye 90% no na 10% no yentimi fa avoid accident ewa fi mu mesere minuanu akwantifo no se ka ho ye de a enu nkire se ka bi aba besi ho bia no munkotumrika anya de enkoforo hwe ka no na hwe wo nkwa na fa hwe ka eba befa wo na hwe ne ties egu ase na hwe ka na abosuo ansa na wo bekwa koforo a waye de wafro enka se ka ho aye de nti ka bi aba bia me koforo wonkwa ehu hia yen se ehu hia wo a yen as commercial drivers there wonkwa hu hia ye pa
CEO Edema NPA eye Gordon Ejudi Tamaklo na yerei ede atu ejase enei Mahama Cares Numedie na wode aba ebeboa pomodene no empanyine se de wofudu yapa ene epia no eno nti omoyi wonum su kotokuo mu 1 million Ghana cedis ede akoto futuo nim se mampanyine emfamwa emo apomodene ho bra.
President John Dramani Mahama's commitment to provide affordable health care for persons suffering from non-communicable diseases. Remember that it was a major campaign promised by the president to set up the Mahama Care. Today, Parliament had given approval and the fund, let me say, is in operation. So the National Petroleum Authority is also joining. I've seen that other agencies have taken the lead, unfortunately. We say it is not late. So what we have decided to do is to also support Thankfully, this matter came before the board. The board has given approval for an amount of 1 million Ghana cedis. It takes a lot of courage to start something new, and not only start, but to have a clear vision of where you are going. So far, I've seen the huge things that she's doing, building a categorization. You know, some of these things are mouthful, so you have to memorize it repeatedly. Already in the Ashanti region, which is a big one, and is going to help many of our people, particularly in Ashanti. And I am so excited. I have no doubt at all that it will spread across the many countries, particularly in the northern part of our country. Imagine you are somewhere in Kulungugu, somewhere in Boku, and you have to do dialysis 3 times in a week. You almost sign your death warrant. And so, Madam Obi, whilst we are doing this, I also want to plead with you. We need some major intervention in the north.
What we are doing is a national call. 45% of persons living in this country die from non-communicable diseases, and that is not a joke. So at any point in time, it could happen to you, it could happen to a friend, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father. So when a man decides that on behalf of his agency and his board of directors contribute some money to the fund for us to be able to take care of such situations, we want to say thank you once again.
We are busia boshini akọ Public Accounts Committee yenyanti yese asoye hwe yakwani akwantempo so ensemwane wote adwamu a yetoto won ma no yenko na yenkotie kakra.
Being paid for sealing a road or patching a pothole, they are the only ones who can tell whether that activity has already taken place or not. So let's put in place a system which doesn't need me or anybody else to validate whether this thing has been done or not. That is the only way out. From now, in fact, the last payment we did, I took all the directors, or some of the directors, to Ministry of Finance to ask. The Ministry of Finance was also there. But that is just a meeting. We don't even need to do that. That should have been an automatic system that when contractor A has been paid for doing X as part of his scope, that should be automatic for everybody to see, including the auditors. So the bottom line here is for us to build a fit for purpose. The existing gift mix have served a purpose. Indeed, it has improved. But things have moved on so much that we need a higher level of interface with that. You talk about this. What about the fact that some of the projects you are talking about here to be paid, there was no commitment authorization even for it. i.e., the Ministry of Finance wasn't even aware that we at the Ministry of Road were committing the state to that level of expenditure. And it's all over the place. Yet the Ministry of Finance gets a certificate. And sometimes a powerful contractor can go to, as His Excellency Mill said, with one front page of a certificate that is how much they owe me. And in his word, somebody can make a phone call and say, pay this contractor. Auditors are not aware. Agencies under the ministry are not aware. Somehow, that person gets paid. Only one day for us to carry out this exercise, for somebody to know that that certificate has already been paid.
Minister, this is a structural problem. And that is why we also have professionals aside engineers. We have other professionals in the road ministry that are supposed to do their work. Aside the engineers, they are professionals, they are accountants, they are procurement officers. They are all the chain of professionals who are there. These certificates that you are talking about, the one-pager, certainly it comes from somebody from Roads and Highways, because they won't come and show something to a minister that is not from Roads and Highways. So aside us looking for better systems, improved systems, we, the human beings also, we need to check ourselves, change our attitude. Sometimes they tell you, but is this for your father or your mother? They do things anyhow. We all know it. And it's very, very easy to push it on the politicians. But then you have professionals in the ministry that are also supposed to discharge their mandate. So, Minister.
We futuo anasa ntoboa kakra ye maame edema minister say ye say certificate a work ho asem say obi wo ho a certificate ni kwa wonhunu baabi a efiri ba ye say auditors be komu say te say de na call free order from above ni afre na yatua sika na manipa no wani beba ahoso no na chese nipa na waje ne sika kra dada na wose an wose ye nsakraye na nsakraye nda nchenso so a wose nipa no ankasa ye to omanu ya na ye de gu amanyofo so nanso so enipa no ankasa ye nnwuma no ye engineers to nchen a ye wanimdifo ewo roads and highways ho a omo ye adwuma yankasa wose ya honim kasa kire yen ne ye nyese Ghana no ye opapa dia ye o maame dia ne ye ntoto mpapa so na ye hwe ye yie famu die bia ede eboa ye kwanza mfufuro a 24-hour economy authority wonom ne MPA assigned asepam santi asepam yi ebeboa ameya tre ye fanwo atena yenumu petroleum sector no emu.
The 24-hour economy program is about economic transformation. We are developing agro-processing capacity so that our farmers can be assured of a market for their products from local producers of finished goods, fully integrated into a resilient and vibrant agri-value chain. We are supporting manufacturers to expand production. We're building logistic corridors that move goods efficiently from farm to factory to market. Every one of those efforts depends on a supply chain that works around the clock. The program is not only asking operators to stay open longer. We are building the enterprise and industrial capacity that will create growing demand for these services. As agro-processing zones come online, as manufacturing expands, as logistics corridors intensify, the demand for round-the-clock fuel will grow with them. We are building both sides of this equation.
The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the National Petroleum Authority and the 24-hour Economy Authority. It marks the beginning of a transformative journey. Our sector have largely been limited to specific working hours. This has resulted in inefficiencies in the supply chain, missed economic opportunities.
I believe the 24-hour economy is not an event. It's actually a process, and the president, in his vision, has also made everyone know that he's willing to implement it, and he will be able to do it with us. So the Ministry of Energy and every ministry has a contribution to make when it comes to the 24-hour economy. And we can be productive beyond the usual 5 to 8.
Commissioner Wada GRA ano Eyora Anthony Kwasi Sapon de atudwa se wonu adwumayefo no wa ho edadwen eda won so papa wo hwe se wakatua ho nsem bekọ yie wasetena mu ebedwe wonom eno da nchen a se de be ya adwumayefo no betum pon wo adwuma wo yemu ntekoba ne sentete bi na sese odwumayeni no wonya emani nim de ekoso ede bo adwuma na ni nyina ya de a wafa to ho so a wo hwe.
Here is made up of over 10,000 people, and that's one of the greatest resources that we have. And for that matter, people issues are of very concern to management, because without our people, we cannot achieve our mandate. And therefore, management working together with the board is committed to ensure that staff welfare issues, staff development and training issues, as well as creating the conducive working environment, which is building a culture that supports a world-class GRA, which is investing in infrastructure that ensures that our people work in a convenient and congenial atmosphere, are very dear at the heart of the board and management.
Conducive atmosphere to work are in place, and that can only be done through dialogue on what we know the challenges of the workers are, and the management and the board will make sure that that is addressed, so that in the end we all get what we're looking for. It is for that reason that it is important that this kind of engagement of workers, the management and the board continues. Every
behavior across the length and breadth of all our offices. That is, we will work together to ensure that the Code of Ethics and Conduct, which we have also signed, it is implemented to its fullest length.
CDD mpanyufo no baako Dr. Kwadwo Pumpuni Asante e de atodwa se o Ghana de hye ne aban ankrankra nyina se yenso OSP special prosecutor asene na nadwuma no obetumi ayo.
After 8 years of operation of OSP no in na pese ye assessment ne hwe say office no the adcronti a butaiti a ye setting up no still here. I say keep it na make sure say be adwuma ana say bia bibi wo no ma achi a say administrating nti I think say you good say a national dialogue ya din kofo be braba ya consultants on my assessment no but obi aka say corruption dey cause one ye pese ye be twen na ye be change aban ansa na ye ba be ye accountability. Inti uhia obi oye independent or you free from sa you know inti no dey at least we bit make say special prosecutor o hwe kofo a or investigate your money there it's even people are na omo aban mu a why investigate you and no be na say continuity say support sa office me that's the at least almost summary no more can say yenya opportunity constitutional review no o ma propose say anka yenfa anti-corruption OSP no na ye merge no with Shraj anti-corruption directorate no ni yenfre no anti-corruption and ethics commission na yenya one-stop shop for dealing with corruption. And I think say yes answer ye mema OSP no ya national constitution not it's any problem bia say in a way grant power and a way grant powers I think say that's what they are proposing, and I think say is the right direction as you call.
Some may see me as good, some may see me as evil. I do not end legal provisions around my trades and practices. The same way I say, you will not let this office's existence depend on whether the president wants it to operate, as we saw in Zimbabwe. And now we have a glorious opportunity with the constitution review process. Let it be sound in it. And we are gratified that the committee, the constitution review committee, put such a proposal in it. Let it be well founded in it. Let it be well planned, so that the next special prosecutor will not spend so much of his time fighting for survival of the office, fighting for survival of his position. It has been most unfair. It has not been for the best as far as our fight against corruption is concerned.
Afitafo ne adwadifo a wo so amemazi yesi ekwan yeda ho no fa sanse wo se emfuturo ekun wono.
Afitafo ene adwadifo a omo swame mazi ekire se emfuturo mene wo mo efise ebeye emre kakranie ena Ghana ban ede swame ekofa mazi ede konanim ode ma contract se wo mo enye sa ekwan nti wo beye swame interchange eye Rango Construction Limited wo mo na adwumaku wo mo ye na mra ye to aba 2024 ebepem sa amre sene ahokeka no sitie no ewo fom pa ekwan ni yie na kwakwa ese achichide nante a enko enam so ama ekwan na nam swame mazi no wo mo ekire mu a sene emfuturo AC pam wo mo egu wo mo adwuma ede yare eba ho no wo mo akeka wo mo ho a wo mo sikwan no se wo mo maka bi antwam wo honom se de be ya aban be hu se dabi sa kwan no wo se contractor no aban ne kasa na se sika wo se aban tua no mo ye enye sa enye ade wo mbepene enam so ma a police folk piem wo honom nenso so no be ye donhwere be ye mienu de e ade ana wo mo kire se twoboi
ye kwan ye nam so kama enye hwe na aban ba so be ye kwan ma ye aban so kwan mo ye Kofi Antrata abansi sabaye no okọ ya no yi machine sin ya fi kwan so kwan ya magya ato kwan kota yen kan no etutu ya fa so mabedwi aba baba nkọ wuso be ya maye afi kwan wonye wogya kwan ato na futo na ku yen obe wata ye demonstration na obe wata aka na ukọ hwe kwan nipa esebu kwan wi esemu nyina wo bro havo Cote d'Ivoire be bia wo ka ka se futo nyina eku nipa wa ha ye timi nya hwe ti ano machine so ye pese ba because ye determine say kwan no on the ka bia fa akwai mu be ye musemu baba be ya maye ye timi hwe mu enfutuo o be ka se MP ani ye pese aso ha eso pi wa ayi pese aso ha ye to abase ye to aba wa ha se eti semo epadinfo omufo nansi for maye mazi ha na ewo mfutuo na doso ye besere ye de president na yesere no me de me toma no o me kwan na maye abaye mfa ye nkase de atwamu ni nti mane enhwe na mom ye o magazine mfutuo no doso too much yesere no o do hu yembo no me maye yesere no akra ye obo mi bui every 2 weeks bia just me take hospital na manya akra no eyare eti yesrawo orajo mahama ye ni da wanim ye ni eda wanim ye nim said ya be atwamu die etwam eti yesrawo hu ye mobo wate na be hu ye mobo na be ye kwan mai
Abuzianfo na me kai mo se Snatch Beauty Salon ewo awodome runabout omo na ye meti okọ ho awetimi abo e de ahye Google Map nim Snatch Beauty Salon e de obekọ ho oye bibia bi pedicure manicure oye obotie omo bredi why dreadlocks ni nyina obehwe ayama mpacho frɛ no 0247858789 eso 0247858789 onsa ebeka wonum sabrede ye homeso na yakoton kra ye ba bongo di fara abo agudi mu nsema no a ode beto aso amaye ye basisia